Hello, everybody. My name is Derek Peterson. I am the president of Hope Holdings and the CEO of the Gorf Network. Today, I want to tell you about a new project we're releasing called Gorf TV. We're very excited about it. I'm probably more excited about this project than all the other projects we're doing over at Gorf, search engine, giant social network, YouTube clone, live streaming, power chats, cryptocurrency, porn blocker, an archiving website. Those are all the projects. So I can do another video explaining all those. You should watch those other videos. Those are all the projects we have going, but probably the one I'm most excited about is Gorf TV, because it just has such potential for, I think, really reaching into the world and reaching people. Hollywood entertainment has really taken over the world. I mean, American Hollywood and American movies have really influenced all of the world. Sadly, mostly in negative ways. Okay, and so we want to try to change that, and we want to do some other things too. I'm going to tell you about in just a minute through this project. Starting out, what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the movies, all the TV shows, and probably all the music actually, that is entered into what's called the public domain. The public domain basically means that it was under copyright protection, and then the copyrights have expired on those materials, and so now they're freely available for anybody to watch, to listen to edit, to crop, and do whatever they want to do with. Public domain. It's a very important part of society. I'm going to get into copyright laws a little bit and how they are really, really, really controlling free speech and what we're allowed to hear and see, and kind of rewriting history using copyright laws, and really trying to change society with these really, really crazy copyright laws. So first of all, Gorf TV, what we're doing starting out is we're taking all the TV shows, like I said, all the movies, all the music that's entered in the public domain. We're going to also do documentaries and speeches from presidents and other famous speeches and things like that. Going to have it all in here, okay? In one really nice, organized, pretty format, okay? And we're going to, obviously, we're not going to put any porn from the 30s and 40s, okay? We're not going to have any kind of sexually explicit type content, and some really cheesy, dumb type stuff. We're not going to have all those sorts of things, okay? But everything that's good, right? That was somewhat popular or whatever, we're going to have in there, okay? So you can see it's laid out kind of like Netflix. This is our homepage here. It just goes through. It'll show you the latest and greatest things that are happening on the website. We're going to start out. I think we're going to have about 500 or so TV shows, series, and which equals probably it'll probably be around 10,000 total episodes. Movies, I think we're going to end up with about 1,500 really good quality movies that are in the public domain right now. We've got some there's some really good movies that are in the public domain. Okay, honestly, a lot of these movies are better than anything you're going to find on Netflix. Okay, Netflix is awful, right? There's really nothing good there, and it's such propaganda and filth. Nobody really wants to, be a part of it, rightfully so. Okay, so we're going to have probably by the time we're done, like I said, around 1,500 really great movies. Okay, and some of these are just classics. I mean, really, really good stuff, honestly. And the actors are just so much more professional. I don't know if you've ever seen actors like from other countries, but I mean, compared to the American actors, that are doing all these boppy movies one after another, these popular celebrities who knows what they've done with Harvey Weinstein to get their gigs, they're talentless, most of them. You watch some of these actors, these old time actors and actresses, some of these ones in other foreign movies and things, they're very, very good. Okay, I'm not like some big entertainment kind of guy, but these people are really good, actors, and it really does make a huge difference. And then also what we're going to do, so in addition to publishing all the open source content, TV shows, movies, videos, documentaries, things like that, we're going to start producing our own original works. Okay, how like Netflix has Netflix originals, we're going to have Gorf originals. Okay, So we've already got 4 programs in process. A couple of these scripts are already written, right? We've been working on this for quite a while, and a couple of these scripts are already written. So I'll just introduce these originals to you. So Providence, How America Got a Soul. This is going to be a very, very accurate, historically accurate series, probably 20 to 30 episode series. Okay. Keeps getting a little bigger. The script's really written, but it just keeps expanding. It just keeps going further in time. But it's a extremely accurate portrayal of colonial America and how we developed as a nation, especially on the principles that we all find so important, like free speech. Okay, soul liberty. Okay, so we're going to get into all that in this series. It's going to be really great. Something I'm very excited about. 2084, obviously 1984, right? A couple of years later. So we have 2084. This is not going to be some kind of a real negative sort of a thing like 1984. This is going to be what could be, okay, if we do things right. This is kind of an optimistic, right, portrayal of what could be and what hopefully should be, will be, right? So it's going to be a very optimistic, view of what could be in 2084 if we do things right, okay? And we take a stand now against all these things that are wrong. God's people, this is going to be documentary, historical documentary, biblical documentary about God's people through the ages and who they are and what things they've gone through, different struggles they've gone through. And this other Gorf original, which hasn't been titled yet, is going to be a series kind of like Stranger Things on Netflix, if you've seen that or heard about that. What we're going to do is every year we're going to have a new series on. These are all going to be true, okay, true shows, okay, and they're going to deal with government experimenting on people and doing different things to people, okay, and all based on actual real events that have happened to real people, and then looking at it from a personal perspective on how these people managed and coped and dealt with life and lived, after these violations that were done to them. Okay. Season 1 is going to be about little kids that were brought into the MK Ultra projects on military bases in the 60s and 70s, and it's all true stories based all the way through. And then that'll be like one season. These seasons are going to be long seasons, like old school seasons, right? Like Beaver used to be. They used to do 39 episodes of Leave It to Beaver in 1 year, right? Now these guys can barely do 10, and they're all, saying how hard they're working, right? So we're going to have probably 40 episodes in each season, okay? And then the seasons are going to kind of intermingle, you'll find, with these different experiments and different things that were done. They all kind of, in a lot of cases, they overlap and intermesh. And some of it will be, fiction where these characters are intermingling and interacting in different ways. But as a whole, the truth is going to be there, revealing these different things that were done to them, from not just from American government, from other places in the world as well. So we're very excited about these Gorf originals. Like I said, we've got a couple of these scripts already done. Completely pretty much, and we're working on the other ones. And what we're going to do is basically put out trailers for all of them. We're going to get the scripts all done. We're going to put out trailers for all of them, and then we're going to try to do like a pilot program for each of them, right? For the series. For the documentary, probably won't do that. We'll put out just like a short, like a long trailer, right? Like a 5 or 7 minute type trailer, okay? But these other ones we're going to do full. These other ones that are series, we're going to do a full episode, a full episode for as a pilot program, and introduce the characters and then try to get some interest in them. So that's what Gorf TV is going to start out as. Okay, not start out, but that's what we're doing. That's the kind of the core model of what Gorf TV is. But it also has another agenda, which is to try to push back against the oppressive copyright laws that have taken over our world that we live in. Okay. So I'm going to give you a quick copyright history. I know it's a little boring, but it's very important, okay, because copyright laws are affecting free speech in America, right? That's why I find this so important. We've built at Gorf Network and Hope Holdings, we've built a lot. All of our focus has been on creating technologies that help humanity, that help free speech, okay? Built, very powerful social network. We're building a video platform, live streaming, power chats, search engine, archiving sites. Like I said, we're doing all these different projects, all focused on protecting free speech. And in order to really protect free speech, we have got to attack the copyright laws in America. Okay. So let me give you the quick history on copyright laws. So I got this blown up so we can see it. So I'll just read this paragraph here from Wikipedia, which is sometimes accurate. U.S. copyright law traces its lineage back to the British Statute of Anne, which influenced the U.S. federal copyright law, the Copyright Act of 1790. That was the first copyright laws passed in America. Okay. The length of copyright established by the Founding Fathers was short, 14 years, plus the ability to renew it one time for an additional 14 years. Okay. 40 years later, it was changed to 28 years. Okay. So the total that somebody could get a copyright for was 56 years. Okay. So that would have brought us up to like 1830 or so, right? So in 1830, the law was passed and it brought it up to 56 years. Okay. 28 plus an additional 28 if you renewed after the first 28. Okay. It was not until a full 180 years later, after its establishment, that it was significantly extended beyond that. The Copyright Act of 1976 to either 75 years or the life of the author plus 50 years. Okay. It was called the Sonny Bono Copyright Term Extension Act of 1998. I'm sorry. And the Sonny Bono Copyright Term Extension Act of 1998, also called the Mickey Mouse Protection Act, because it prevented the copyright from expiring on the first commercial success of the cartoon character Mickey Mouse, which increased it even more to 120 years, or the life of the author plus 70 years. Okay. So what happened was that the copyright for the Mickey Mouse character was getting ready to expire. So Disney went to Congress and I'm sure, paid them off or blackmailed them with all of their weirdness that was going on with Walt Disney and got that copyright extended to 120 years so that they could maintain control of this character and own it, this character, Mickey Mouse, the Devil Mouse. Why is this bad? Okay. So, I know a lot of people get angry about, people when they push back against copyright laws because they say, oh, what are you, a commie? You don't think somebody produces something that they should own it? It should be in the public. Everybody should own it. Well, first thing I'd say is our founding fathers agreed with me. Okay. And they weren't commies. Okay. It was 28 years. Okay. When they did it. Okay. The point is when someone produces this content, it's created not just with them, but it's created within the society that they're living in. And these people that take part in it, that watch it, that support it, that endorse it, when they create that, when they create a series or create a movie, okay, these people support it. It's a contract with them because there's a copyright law. There's laws that are dictating this. That's a contract with all of us, okay, saying that, okay, this that I'm producing right now is going to be everybody's property in a certain length of time, right? And everybody knows that at that time, and they agree to that, and that's the deal, okay? What's happening now? Why this is a problem with these huge, lengthy copyright terms is that what guys like Ted Turner, right, buying up Dukes of Hazzard, say, right, or Bill Cosby, Mr. Moral, right, buying up the Little Rascals, which he did, right, and then they say, I think this is kind of racist, so we're going to bury it, okay, and so they just erase this part of history, and so Leave It to Beaver, Andy Griffith, all of these real family-friendly shows from the 50s and 60s and 40s and things, are all owned and buried, Okay. That's what they do. I got in this fight like 10, 15 years ago. There was some Christian authors that I really liked that I wanted to republish on a website we were building. And I went to ask permission of the people who own the copyright. And it was a liberal, it used to be a Christian college that became very liberal. And they didn't like this guy, right? Because he's a hardcore Christian kind of a guy, and they own the copyrights to it. And so they buried it, you know. And they said, no, we're not publishing that anymore. No one's allowed to publish that anymore, right? Because we don't agree with that stuff. And I said, oh, okay, all right. And I published it, right? And then they start the process of suing me and threatening me and everything else. And I'm like, whatever, okay? And they, I mean, yeah, there's criminal penalties for it. And I said, fine, go for it and sue me. But all you can sue me for is damages, really, right? So, I mean, good luck with that because you're sitting on it, right? That's not the intent of copyright. The intent of copyright is to protect ownership so somebody can maintain their ownership of the value of what they're doing. If they've given up on the idea of making money on it and they just want to, and their goal is to sit on it, to squat it, or to jack the price up and make it ridiculous to prevent people from seeing it, forget them. Who cares? I had the same problem with a Christian publisher, okay, who didn't like this Christian author that I really liked, this preacher. And, he was wrong on some topics, regarding Bible versions and things like that, because when he was writing, it really wasn't a factor, right? But he had all this other material that he wrote was great, that no one's ever discussed these topics and no one's ever written on it in a way as well as him. And this Christian publisher said, no, we're not publishing that, right? And I published it them. And they have this Christian Law Association starts threatening me to sue me. I'm like, okay, brothers, I guess you haven't read that part. But, and I did the same thing. I just said, do what you're going to do, right? Ended up, they didn't even own the copyright because they never renewed it. But anyway, and they knew that and they just kept threatening me anyway, right? Which is real tacky. And I published it anyway, okay? So I was doing this like 10, 15 years ago. This kind of stuff already ticked me off. Bill Cosby burying the little rascals, right? With Buckwheat, any episodes of Buckwheat, things like that. They're rewriting history. They're trying to control our history. They're trying to erase this family-friendly history that we came from, right? And they're trying to substitute it with this filth that's being forced on us now that no one else can really compete with, right? Netflix spent $3 billion or $13 billion, something like that, buying up all the content, everything basically. I mean, I've tried to get licenses. I've been calling on licenses for months, okay? They're all bought up and they almost have, and it's almost all exclusives. There's no way you can afford this stuff, okay? They just pay ridiculous amounts of money for it, okay? We're struggling to pay hosting fees, right? We can't afford $13 billion for content, okay? And that's what these guys do. And then they control what everybody hears. They control the whole entertainment world, which has a huge influence on our culture and our society, okay? That's a problem, okay? So my plan is to say, when somebody produced a movie or TV show or whatever the agreement was at that time, whatever the trademark laws were when they produced that, okay, that's what we're going with, okay? So when they made Leave It to Beaver, okay, the copyright term was, 28 years and renew it, get another 28 years, okay? 56 years maximum, okay? That was the deal when they made that, okay? I understand, people pass laws and things like that. That's fine. But that law that you pass should only work going forward. You shouldn't be able to retroactively say, oh, we're changing this contract that we had with society at that time, okay, with all the people, and retroactively changing it and saying, oh, psych, you can't have it, right? Right now, nothing is getting released into the public domain at all for years because of these laws, okay? In 3 years, Mickey Mouse is going to come up for, after this extension that they did, years ago to do this, 40 years now or whatever it is, 40 plus years. They're about to expire again in 2023. Okay. So we need to act because they're going to act. 100% guarantee that Disney is going to say, Congress, we need to extend this to 200 years. Okay. Let's just push this out. Right. and they're going to do it, and they're guaranteed it's going to get signed off on. Signed off on. Okay, so we got 3 years. They're going to change the laws again. Okay, and it's going to get pushed into infinity. Okay, so hopefully everybody can get behind this and make some kind of a protest against Congress and make sure that they don't pass this law and that they go back and fix the copyright laws and put it back and say, whatever it was when it was created, that's what it is. Okay, because that's what we're going to do. So what we're doing basically is, like I said, you take 1964, you add 28 plus 28, that's 56. You add 56 years to that, you get 2020. So you get 2020, you go back 56 years, okay, in 1964, okay? So we're publishing everything that was created from 1964 on backwards, okay? And that includes every TV show, every single movie, every single song, every single book ever written, everything created from 1964 backwards, we're going to publish on Gorf TV. Okay, like it or lump it. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to keep doing that every year. We're going to move it up again. So in 1965, we're going to publish next year. In 2021, we're going to publish everything from 1965. In 2022, we're going to publish everything from 1966. And we're going to keep doing that up until 1976 when the laws changed. Okay. And hopefully by then, something will have happened in the next 12 years or whatever. But that's what we're going to do. Okay. That's the plan. I'm not naive. I know how this goes, right? It's ugly for me. But that's, this is what we have to do. Okay. Because they're controlling the narrative right now. They're affecting, they're retroactively changing laws that were in place that made deals with us. People supported these programs knowing this content was going to be free and available. Okay. And so that's, you can't retroactively change these contracts. Okay. And, so that's how we're going to fight it. And we're just going to keep publishing and publishing and publishing. And again, I know it's going to happen. Okay. I'm not naive. I have some tricks up my sleeve. Okay. And some escape patches, but I know how it ends. Okay. And of course it's not great. So, again, Gorf.tv, we're going to be adding new content all the time. And, we're going to have, it's all going to be free also, by the way. Everything is going to be free. We're going to have, we'll probably have some ads and things like that to help pay for the bandwidth costs and things like that. But it's all going to be free, and you can get a membership and, and not have ads. But, this is not to make money. Okay. This is basically a not-for-profit. It's I'm not set up as a not-for-profit, but it's basically a not-for-profit. We're just going to try to, make this work because we really care about it. And these are great movies and TV shows. And so, it has a lot of positive opportunities, right? We can have a lot of great content that's back, in the public domain. So, these movies have been kind of lost because no one's really taken the time to put them all in one place, nice and neat and orderly like we are. And hopefully we can get these laws changed and through these battles and get all this other content that should have been getting released for years now, get it all released back into the public domain, right? So everybody can watch Leave It to Beaver anytime they want, okay, without paying. I mean, I don't even know who has it now. They probably bury it because it's too family friendly, right? So, again, that's our plan. If you want to help us, please support us. The only way we really have any support is through you guys. Gorf TV. You can go to gorf.store. You can buy some really cool Gorf gear, Gorf hats, Gorf shirts. We're going to have, a lot of different t-shirt designs, 80s retro type style. We're 80s all the time over here at Gorf. So, go to gorf.store and support us over there. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate your support and your prayers. And hopefully we can all fight for free speech and get all this content released back into the public domain. So thanks again for listening. I'm Derek Peterson from Gorf Network. Thanks. Bye.